Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Wizard Weekly, where we bring you news and humor from around the spiral. Earlier this week, KingsIsle reported that we'll soon be able to let our mounts wander freely around our homes. I'm not sure just how we were able to fit giant lions, ponies, and dragons into our bags in the first place, but I'm sure they'll be glad to be let out every once in a while. To herald in this new housing feature, KingsIsle is running a Mountapalooza, where previously retired mounts are returning to the spiral to join newly released mounts in a giant sale that'll last until April 17th, so get one if you haven't. It'll be kind of interesting to see just how the wing mounts get out and about. Speaking of interesting, if you've watched the roaming mount video, you'll notice a few new pets in there as well. Whether or not these are the new school pets has neither been confirmed or denied yet, though there's speculation that these may be related to the powered-up attacks that Professor Fawne was talking about in this month's newsletter. Some new gears made it to the spiral that has wizards buzzing. Some newly released amulets will allow wizards to use an attack from a specific school at its base worth. That's right! You'll finally be able to cast those secondary school spells without them consuming all your Power Pips. They're currently only available in the crown shop for 9,950 crowns. Ouch! Don't fret if you're a little crunched for cash though, as Professor Greyrose posted that we'll be able to farm these jewels off of certain bosses in Wintertusk. When it gets here. Spring has certainly gotten here though, and has hit Wizard City, and my sinuses, full force. As we mentioned in last week's segment, Egbert has arrived in the shopping district, bringing with him a slew of new staffs. If you've been trying for an egg pet, he'll gladly supply you with one that you can custom color, making it super cute, and, if properly trained, the perfect decoy for egg hunts. You can also purchase a bunny suit from the crown shop that, well, let's never speak of this again. This week in Better Homes and Gardens, we'll be touring the house of Logan Fairytail, who has the Storm House. Shocking! Okay, that was a really bad pun. Logan is an avid statue hunter, proudly displaying each one on a small, storm-racked island, which looks incredibly lively and welcome for having endured an everlasting tempest. This hardy island is ready to endure much more than the weather, though, with guard stations on the high ground and multiple cannons ready to repel any invaders crazy enough to brave these turbulent waters. Let's go inside. I'm getting soaked. As soon as you walk in the front door, you enter into a bright, cheerful game room that makes you totally forget about the weather outside. Here, his pets frolic and play with any of his many mini-games. Talk about pampered, they even have their own carousel. Down the stairs is the built-in aquarium and lounge, where you can sit and relax with friends. Just down the hallway is Logan's bedroom, which is a heck of a lot neater than mine. This cozy captain's cabin struck me as really lifelike and inviting. I was hard-pressed not to take a nap. I kept going, though, to the crafting room and study, where inventions and defenses are planned and created. Next, there's my favorite part, the kitchen! I love how he uses color to achieve a country cottage feel. Finally, there's an underwater retreat where Logan entertains his guests. Logan's house is a nice, relaxing place where you can just kick back and chill. It also showcases his many treasures. For those treasures you don't want to, or can't, showcase, there's your bank. Dun dun dun. The default bank is pretty ordinary looking, so this week I'm going to show you how to spruce it up a bit using a pushing method of furniture glitching. What you'll need for this particular glitch are 2 tatami mats from Mushu, and something that's about the same size, if not larger than your bank. I'm going with the tarnished silver chest because it's larger than the other chests and will cover my bank more completely, and it's just kinda cool looking. I should note that this will not completely cover your bank on all sides, as there's no furniture spot underneath it, but with some creative positioning you can make it totally invisible from just about every angle. The best part about this one is it's super simple. Just take your 2 tatami mats and put them end to end. just like this. Make sure you rotate them separately from each other so they don't stick. And then take the chest you want to put on there and rotate it in the direction you want it facing before you put it on the mats. This will stick also. Alright. Now, take your first mat and use it to move the chest over your bank by placing it just next to it. There you go. And rotate it using the second mat, and in the same motion, pick it up. Ta-da! Instant, pretty, okay, not really, sorta, kinda bank. If you're dead set on completely hiding your bank, I've seen wizards use entire statues, columns, or fountains to cover it up. It really is a great way to hide your treasures. And speaking of treasures, it's on to questions from our viewers in Letters to the Spiral. What do you think about treasure cards in the shared bank? Nika Uzumaki wants to know. Personally speaking, I love them. I enjoy crafting, but getting the cards is a real hassle. The problem with the system where you can move treasure cards around easily, though, is lower level gameplay, especially PvP. Imagine someone's level 10 alt wizard having access to unlimited earthquakes, tempests, forest lords. You get the idea. There would be an issue with imbalance, as low-level wizards would have very little means of countering this, if any means at all. KingsIsle would have to put level limitations on all the cards, kind of like they did on the polymorph cards. And while I'm not opposed to this idea at all, I'm sure there are a great many who are, and it's an awful lot of work for them. It'd eat up time needed for other projects like the release of Wintertusk or just keeping Wizard 101 going in general. Umbron would like to add to his treasures, asking, where's the best place to farm for gold? Well, depending on your level, there's several hotspots. If you're just starting out, you should hit Rattlebones a few times. He's easy to solo, he has a wide assortment of stuff that sells for a pretty penny, and I think he drops the Mist Sprite too, so you can snag a neat pet while you're there. If you're at the top of the food chain and you find yourself strapped for cash, you could hit Calypso, Queen Calypso. She drops the Starfish pet, and her Nova necklace sells for 5,000 gold a pop at the bazaar. She's also pretty easy to solo, or you could bring a friend along to take care of her pesky pirate friend who is a tower shield throwing machine and really quite annoying. The best part is you don't even have to leave the dungeon. Just flip the switch and she's ready for round 200. Speaking of necklaces, Seth has a question about the new amulets. What do you think of the new amulets? Do you feel they'll help or hurt the game? I know a lot of wizards had their danders up about these things, and at first glance I was a little about them too, but some very knowledgeable wizards pointed out that these are a great answer to the problem with resists. One wizard said, and I forgot who it was, I'm sorry, that prisms only get you so far, and I couldn't agree more. These new amulets are, dare I say, the perfect solution to that. This also helps wizards who put 100% of their points into another school as a secondary, because eventually, as we move into the future, we'll see spells with costs like 8 pips, 9 pips, maybe even 10 pips, and wizards who went fully into another school otherwise wouldn't be able to cast these spells. This especially affects balanced wizards because many of them talent into other elemental schools because the attacks are more powerful than their own. In regards to PvP, I don't think this will so much harm the game as change it. Yes, the amulets will alter gameplay, and right now there's a dividing line between who can and who can't afford it, which I believe is a bit of a faux pas on KingsIsle's part, but when Wintertusk comes out, more and more wizards will be able to farm for them, more and more people will have them, and they'll become a bit more mainstream. For now, yes, they do cause a bit of an unfair rift, but things will even out as we move into the future. While we're on the topic of the future, Sarah Battlethief would like to know, do you think KingsIsle will add a new quest for returning Bartleby's eye with all the other worlds to come? That's a great question, and one I don't really have a very solid answer to, I'm sorry. I do believe that somewhere down the line we will be sent out to find Bartleby's Void visual aid, though. I don't know when or where. It's a bit of a plot hole right now, as apparently Malister took it, and he seems to have misplaced it or something because, you know, we've beaten the pants off of him time and time again and we still haven't seen it. I do not think it's going to be part of the Morganthine storyline, though. I could be wrong, but I do think we'll have to wait till after we've defeated her to see the missing eyeball questline. In the meantime, we'll just have to get him a magic 8-ball or something. Finally, Wizard 101 Updates writes in to ask, do you think KingsIsle will be releasing wands that give 3 or more Power Pips at the beginning of a battle? I doubt it. KingsIsle's gone so far as to remove Power Pip altering treasure cards and whatnot from the game. It's become pretty clear that any more than 2 Power Pips at the start of a battle makes things pretty unbalanced, so I don't think we'll ever see wands with more than 2 Power Pips. What we might see, though, are kind of like the endgame wands now, with additional stats built into them like critical strike, block, resist, etc. I could be wrong. Maybe way down the road they'll release one with 3 Power Pips to start, but I think it's safe to say, at least for the immediate future, that we won't be seeing them. That's all for this week's Wizard Weekly. I just want to slip a note in before we wrap this segment up. Wizard Weekly will now be released Friday nights instead of Friday mornings. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to tune in next week! This week's Wizard Weekly is brought to you by Pepsi Cola, the best fizzle in the spiral. But when Winter Tusk comes out, more and more wizzelds, yes, wizzelds. Welcome to Wizard Weekly. Derp.